Zinedine Zidane was asked about the guy, of course, they got from Chelsea, spent a lot of money on him. He said, "We know the player we have. At any time he will respond." He did in Seville. Of course, everyone expects more from him, and he knows we are with him, and he is with us. You have to go game by game because he will surely be the player we want him to be. How much pressure is on Hazard, Sid? It's not easy, is it, going to Real Madrid?
No, it's not easy. I think maybe slightly less pressure than you might normally expect in a situation in which you're, if you like, the superstar signing and you come into a team that didn't function the last 2 years and you're pretty much the one big difference from what Real Madrid have been over the last 2 seasons. But he was injured during pre-season. I think he doesn't look fully fit now. He looks a tiny little bit big still. I think maybe still needs to lose a little bit of weight and get into the rhythm of the game. But I think there's an expectation that will take a while. And I've been surprised, I must say, by how much patience there's been around him, given the excitement about him. I guess that's been helped a little bit by the performances of Karim Benzema, and it's been helped in particular by the fact that against Paris Saint-Germain, when they were so awful, the entire team broke down. It wasn't about Hazard. It wasn't the pressure on him, and then they went away to Sevilla and played very well in a very defensive sense. So I actually think he's been given more time than you would probably have anticipated.
He'll be fine, though, obviously, yeah? He will put in the sort of performances that has him in the conversation, one of the best players in the world.
Well, he's going to have to, because there's no hiding place when you're playing at that club. Barcelona and Real Madrid in particular in Spain, it's the pinnacle for a lot of the players.
Yeah.
And you can hide behind I don't mean that in a bad way, but you can shield yourself from a little bit of the pressure because of the fitness situation, but ultimately that will go away at some point, and then it's going to be all about end product. But as Sid said, as long as they're getting results in the meantime, that buys you a little bit more time. If the poor results are continued and the manager comes under pressure, and then that resonates through to the senior players, particularly the big signings, that's when it's a problem. Everybody thinks in Real Madrid things change, which it has short term, but we know how it can change. It can flip again. I mean, it could flip again this weekend, and then we're in the Champions League again. So it's a big weekend for Zidane again.
It's only 10 days since that PSG debacle in which Hazard, as Sid mentioned, everyone was poor, but Hazard didn't look right at all, did he?
So this is a very big weekend for Eden Hazard. This is the sort of moment as to why you decided, you know what, my dream is to go to Real Madrid for this sort of weekend, for this sort of matchup in which you come in as being the difference maker. You haven't been that yet, but this is the very opportunity where the stage is there for you. And let me tell you something. The honeymoon, it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Surely coming to an end. And shortly coming to an end. Certainly, if Real Madrid goes to Atletico Madrid and loses, and he doesn't play well, now we're talking about this whole patience that Sid was just alluding to. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait a minute, not so patient anymore. We're expecting something from you, and you're supposed to deliver it. And if you want to be here, and this is a club that you wanted to be a part of, well, here's an opportunity for you to start playing well.
Be interesting to see how they play it down that side, because he's going to have to track back on Trippier. Because Trippier is going to get forward, there's no doubt about it. He's going to be that extra winger. And how do they play it? Do they play... Sometimes you can play a little cheating game in there where maybe you're only half and half tracking back in the hope that you win it back, the full-back's out of position, then you can counter. Or is he going to have to do the defensive job and go all the way, which is going to negate his skills a little bit. So it's a game of cat and mouse with these wide guys, because in the modern game, the full-backs are so attacking, you could end up chasing back for 90 minutes. And as we know, particularly if you're not fit, that's a big problem to do over the course of a game, because it's going to drain the energy from you.
I would say it perhaps would benefit, actually, Eden Hazard, that he's playing against a guy who he is very familiar with in Kevin Trippier. That he is a guy that you understand and know very well. And Trippier would know Hazard as well. Yeah. And so when Trippier is thinking about going forward, as you're talking about, he may also say, wait a minute, I know what this guy is capable of. And he may not have the picture of the guy who's overweight. He may have the picture of the guy that was killing him in the Premier League. And so maybe there is a little bit of being hesitant in really pushing forward and saying, you know what, I know that this guy can hurt me, so maybe I stay back. And that cat and mouse game that you're talking about may be the decision maker for either Atletico Madrid defensively or Real Madrid offensively.
Chunky, is that?
I mean, I'm not an overweight expert, but you know,
well,
Sid is.
Yeah. Well, but
Sid's got him.
Didn't you have to take your tie off last week?
You moonlight in overweight.
Didn't you have to take your tie off last week because it was too tight?
It wasn't too tight. I was giving one of my chins a rest.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.